Hey everybody, it's the Last Robocar here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Space Marine. Last time we pushed the button, we fired the Psychic Scourge, and we caused a full-scale chaos invasion on the planet. Fortunately, we were able to get rid of the Orc problem by killing Grimskull, but, well, we've got this rather big problem hanging over our heads, and that is the orbital spire, which is currently opening a gigantic fleet-sized portal in the warp, through which the newly arrived Lord Nearoth can bring his fleet, which is, as you can imagine, not a good story for anybody in any of the vicinity of fucking Forge World Grime. Joining me on our adventures to go put the power source into Invictus and blow the fuck out of everything is...
It's Cool Guy, and I have had just about enough of putting this power source in anything, but I suppose the worst has already happened. Yeah, there's the famous last words for Warhammer 40k if I ever heard them.
I'm really sad that like the ghost of Drogon didn't appear and say, "But be careful, or you will blow the planet into 3 quarters." I don't know where the other the one quarter that's not there just blew into ash. So
honestly, that entire thing might be an improvement at this point.
Because we've already had blown up, cracked in half. I mean, we just got turn it inside out, perhaps. Well, we're going to see it all today because, well, it's time to head back to manufacturum Majakus, and it's time to plug that power source back in. Fortunately, the trip back's a little less rough than the trip away from it.
What's happened?
The captain dealt with their war boss once and for all.
We have a chance now.
Bolster your defenses. The demon host will not be so easy to frighten off.
Good luck, Titus. All our hopes are with you.
Yeah, so we're back. Some of the areas will seem a little familiar when we go through them. I don't believe there's any reused assets in this area, because I believe we're actually on the other side.
Enoch aboard Titan Invictus.
This is Captain Titus. What is the status of the Titan?
My crew and I are aboard Invictus, but she's immobilized. You will need to activate our berth's backup generator to release the mooring clamps.
Understood.
Now, I do not know where the Princeps and his buddies were, but the fact that the Titan has its full crew sitting and waiting, they might have just been there the whole time, but because there was no one to remove the jacks or anything, they were too scared to move out.
I figure they've just been listening to the comm chatter between Titus and Mira this whole time, just being like, one of these days, buddies, one of these days they'll get around to us.
They'll let us out. Because, well, let me just say, sure, a Warlord Titan is extremely important, but it ain't gonna move without its Princeps, and it takes a very good Princeps to be able to pilot a Warlord. And a very large crew inside of it as well. There's actually a really awesome Warhammer Monthly comic about a Warlord Titan that the name eludes me at the moment, but it was one of the most fantastic comics they put out.
I forget exactly how big the crew is, but I'm pretty sure it's a couple of hundred.
If anyone was wondering just how dangerous the guardsmen are when they all start firing, there you go.
I actually have flashbacks of when I played this game on hard of this exact corridor. I think I must have died a dozen times right here. So yeah, you're making me look like a jerk right now. Good on ya.
Oh, I died when I was recording this for the proper run, but it drops you straight back at the very beginning. So you get into the mindset of, well, I'm not going to die again. I'm not going through all of that walking and talking. I'd have included it otherwise, just to show off how absolutely just murderous it is.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I mean, just one of the quotes that came up in the thread in between these things here was,
With
"I'll
my
get to it
psychic
after
abilities,
this."
I had drawn energy from the warp. I found a planet where I could work unobserved. A remote forge world. The Adeptus Mechanicus gave me free rein when I told them I was developing a weapon with a new, unorthodox energy source. They know the Xenos will soon choke humanity out of the galaxy. My weapon will help keep our species alive. They will not ask questions. Desperation cuts through bureaucracy.
Well, he's not wrong about that. But one of the quotes that came up in the thread was that anybody who thinks last rifles are a weapon to be ignored has never had to charge a line of them.
Yeah, don't want to run down a friggin' las barrage. It's just not pretty. Orcs are durable enough to be able to take that stuff, but at the same time, it's still pretty nasty. And speaking of nasty,
oh god, heavy bolter.
Remember the Imperial Guard? Yeah, the Imperial Guard could use those emplacements, so it makes sense the Trader Guard could use them too. And you kill one, another one will run over to take over it. Until, of course, you get far enough behind, in which case they will fall back to a better position. Which, very impressive. Like, even if it was just something that they scripted for that section, that was still good thinking on Relic's part.
Oh please, the idea of good AI not being scripted is kind of a myth. Like, even the first Fear game, which had like amazing AI, I'm not taking that away from it, but it was incredibly heavily scripted.
And here is a first of our new enemy types, although we have seen one of the other ones. The Renegade Psyker, although it's probably got some other different name like Heretic Psyker or something silly like that. Basically, they are giant fuck-off laser beam cannons that float. They will just chain damage into you, and so long as they're alive, more Trader Guardsmen will just come flooding out. They are what we like to call priority targets.
Yeah, and you certainly treated him like one. I don't think I've ever seen one drop that quick.
You'll see one drop even faster later.
Lovely.
Let me just say, when the game gives me like a heavy weapon to play with, even if it's completely stupid to be using it for a while, I will just want to run its ammo down. I just love using the heavy bolter. I love using the plasma gun so much. I'm just like, no, I'm gonna hold on to this sucker as long as I can.
Decapitate that Havoc with heavy bolter sniping? Jeez.
Yes. Yeah, and speaking of the Havocs, these ones, we're carrying las cannons. They are nice enough to have their targeting beam on you, which I assume is what it would look like if we were zooming through our scope, although obviously we don't have the laser beam. Just to let you know, yeah, you're in the sights and you're about to get hit by a giant tank-busting green beam. And then, it comes to a certain point, it's like, okay, fine, jeez, here we go.
It's like the weirdest sniper duel ever.
Sniping with tank-busting weaponry. You can one-shot these guys with a headshot, and there is actually a second zoom mode you could use, but I don't know, like, when I'm using the keyboard, I feel like it's a bit clunky, so I just, whatever. Hit the body, it works. There's ammo. I almost feel like I expected you to be engaged in a much fiercer battle here or something.
Well, I mean, if you charge into the middle of it, yeah, you will be, because you'll be getting tagged on all sides by las cannons.
Yeah, I chump a few difficult scenarios here just by way of just chumping them.
Yeah, nobody faults you for it, brother.
Oh dear. Another elevator. What was this one for? It was to move something big.
It's over the PA, I heard the local equivalent of Arbeit macht frei.
It's like, where would it go after you pulled it off there, though? It's just like, this is a small corridor.
Experimentation with the warp energy is proceeding rapidly. I no longer need to travel into the warp to pull more energy into this dimension. But I am encountering unexpected activity. I was naive to think that my incursion into warp space had gone unnoticed. Something has taken an interest. When I manipulate the energies, I feel a presence pushing against my psychic defenses. Testing me.
That's usually when you abort.
Yeah. I would have just been like, okay, so safety protocols say...
We're ejecting this thing back into the warp. Nope.
Okay, bye now.
There it is.
Hello.
That's pretty impressive. Every time I see that thing, it never stops taking my breath away.
That did it, Ultramarines. If you can release our mooring clamps, we can bring devastation to the invaders. The renegades have it well guarded.
Understood.
fine. You have a heavy bolter, so you're not really that concerned about that.
I'm gonna get every shot out of this motherfucker I can.
I always hated these moments because it was just like, okay, where are we coming from? Where is it going to start? And then everything starts exploding, and then it doesn't stop exploding for like 5 minutes straight.
Yeah, this is another one of those places that teaches you really hard that it's the enemy that are making use of the cover and everything. You're trying to get to them. They're the cover shooters.
They are now.
Got a good spread of units to come at you as well. If you can kill them fast enough, it just does not intimidate. No, they do give you plenty of explosives to play with though.
As well they should. I mean, it's very much an inversion of gameplay. How you spent the first half of the game basically luring orcs in because otherwise the shooter boys and slugger boys would, you know, pick you apart piecemeal, to having to aggressively assault positions purely so you don't get picked apart piecemeal at range.
Yeah, it's good. I love the way it shifts it up. And then of course they drop this motherfucker on you.
I don't remember
I'm
what's
like,
going on.
is he gonna pop up naturally? Have I got time to go get ammo? Okay, cool. Yeah, because we got another enemy type to get involved with here.
I will feed you to the dark gods myself after the wheel.
Oh god,
This guy's a champion of chaos. And he's carrying a demon maul, which in this game is the equivalent of the Thunderhammer. I'm gonna get... I'm just gonna let the others distract him for a little bit here. But I think he tags me, and just... You know, that was a whiff. That was a whiff that he got me with.
Yeah, those dudes will ruin your day so quickly if they get their hands on you.
Get us to the mooring clamp controls.
Oh
I'll
man.
take care of the clamps. You and Leandros get the doors to the manufacturum open.
Understood, Captain.
I'm gonna bring this barrel with us. Oh. I just go watch these guys for a second.
That's not getting the doors open, guys.
Oh, there they go. They're going in the right direction. I think I can trust them to get the job done while I go and.
Well, you can trust them to do a job. Whether or not they'll get it done is another thing altogether.
I needed to test the warp device's capabilities. Running the Titan manufacturum with it, or rather with the power source, provided a convenient opportunity. The tech priests are practically giddy with its success, but this is a trivial accomplishment. I am impatient to begin testing the warp device's psychic attributes. I'm just waiting for the live cargo to arrive.
Live cargo. Oh, 2 guesses as to what that means.
No, we did see a little bit of it in his lab, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bunch of orcs that they thought was just a great idea.
Enoch, I have Inquisitor Drogon's power source with me. We must use it to supercharge your weaponry.
The power source? The rites involved in using it safely. Only the High Fabricator himself.
Unless we act now, an entire Chaos fleet will hang over your forge world.
Understood.
The Princeps has good reason to be extremely wary of plugging a power source into his Warlord Titan, though. I'll go into it a little bit further. There's those things again. We'll go into a little bit more once I talk a little bit more about the fancy gun we're about to pick up. That is to say, we have got ourselves the 2 bolt guns stapled together. The Storm Bolter. The most effective of the combi weapons. It basically just fires a ridiculous amount of bolts. I would almost wish this was the replacement for the regular bolter, but it's an extra weapon. It is excellent at just clearing out guardsmen and taking care of a certain enemy type that we've been seeing sort of woofing around.
Invictus powering up now.
My battle brothers will have the gates opened shortly. Maneuver Invictus close to the topmost gantries. I'm coming aboard.
Yes, Captain.
You can hear the nervousness in his voice. Yeah, the big reason the Storm Bolter isn't a replacement bolter is just because its rate of fire is so high, its accuracy suffers. So you can equate it to an SMG.
Now that we've been teased with it for a little while, here's the Chaos Drone, or perhaps you might call it the Nurgle Drone, because this is a Nurgle demon inside of a flying device. You can sort of see it's a bit maggoty, bit nasty looking. It almost fires like it's got its own storm bolter. This is not one that you would see fielded on the tabletop normally. That actually got its origins as a Forge World production, which is sort of like a bonus, non-official sort of
Lock it
deal.
down! A demon is in the labs!
Authorization required to implement security protocols.
Drogon, Inquisitor, Ordo Xenos.
Outrun, human!
Repeat authorization. Speak clearly.
Drogon! Inquisitor! Ordo!
Okay, maybe it wasn't just the demon possessing Drogon having trouble with the machines.
Yeah, maybe that particular machine is just totally just a total piece of crap.
Enoch, I have a target for you. The orbital spire.
The spire? But Captain, it is a masterwork of the machine god.
It is feeding energy into the warp gate above it. If we are to stop this invasion, the spire must fall.
I understand.
So the big reason why the Princeps might be having a bit of trepidation at this whole just plugging the power source into himself and firing it is because when I say plugging the power source into himself, the Princeps has his nervous system basically wired into the Warlord. He's not just controlling it with controls, he is thinking and acting. It is an extension of himself. A Warlord Titan and its Princeps bond over time. So he's going to he feels the damage that he sustains on this Titan as pain.
I bring the power source.
Travel across the armature to...
I can only imagine what stuffing a power source into him is gonna feel like. Probably not anything that great.
I'm thinking liquid methamphetamine injected directly into your eyeball.
Yeah. So here's a sequence that would normally be very rough your first time through, especially if you didn't realize it was coming and you didn't equip a long-range weapon. Because what the game throws at you is a fairly small number of foes. Two Psychers and a drone. This would not normally be a problem, except that the Titan walking frigs your aim up something fierce, they move around quite rapidly, they teleport quite rapidly, and they have got you at extreme range. See, even like trying to like shoot just this one target with the Titan sort of lurching up and down is extremely difficult. Trying to hit the Psychers at extreme range is just an exercise in frustration. So that's why I got myself as much ranged weaponry as I could in case I ran out of ammunition or ran out of time on my Emperor's Fury slowdown sniping.
That was professionally done, I have to say. I was just grinning that entire time. It's just like, oh man, that was perfect.
Walkways around the volcano cannon, Captain.
And here we go. We're about to set this poor Princeps Enoch's nervous system on fire, I think.
Power source successfully integrated.
Target the orbital spire.
Target acquired.
Firing now.
Messiah, preserve us.
Alarm. Ejecting power core. Shutting down all systems.
Captain, all systems are overloading. Did it work?
Invictus performed admirably, Enoch. The warp gate is closing.
Thank the machine god.
Shutting down all systems.
Yeah, I think at this point Princeps would be very happy to unplug himself from that, because
Yeah.
holy shit.
All things considered, he took that like a freaking man.
But Nearoth and his demon host still roam free,
Though he is trapped on this world.
and all the more desperate to recover the power source. We must get it to safety, old friend.
Good news on that front. Lieutenant Mirror reports that the Liberation Fleet has entered the system. The Inquisition will surely have sent agents with the fleet, Captain. Perhaps we can return the device to them.
The Inquisition has already failed to stop its exploitation by Chaos. No one must use the device, Leandros, ever again. Contact Lieutenant Mira and have her divert a Valkyrie here to pick us up.
Yes, Captain.
There totally wasn't a catch in his voice there.
Damnable power source is out of the question.
Too risky. We could open another warp gate, for all we know. Upon our return to Macragge, I will confide it to the chapter master and his librarians.
And until then?
My most trusted brother will bring it to our strike cruiser and seal it in the armory. Get this damn thing secured, Sergeant.
As quickly as I can. What will you be doing while I run this little errand?
There are still thousands of traitors and heretics on this world. I intend to drastically thin their ranks.
Lieutenant Mira's Valkyrie is on its way, Captain.
Excellent. We make for the landing pad. And watch for the Chaos Lord's forces.
Watch this next cutscene very carefully.
There! Retrieve the warp device.
Sidonis, get to the landing pad.
Aye, Captain.
Did you notice something strange about those Chaos Space Marines?
You know, despite the fact that he was holding a bolter like it was a heavy weapon?
Yeah, I love that sequence.
Okay.
It's like somebody didn't have enough time or something to fix that sequence up. I guess they were originally going to have heavy bolter wielding Chaos Space Marine Havocs, but then decided the plasma guns and the las cannons were enough. I should probably also point out that yeah, these guys are default basic Chaos Space Marines. So we have 3 versions of the Chaos Space Marine. We have the regular ones, we have the Havocs, and we have the Champions.
It's also worth noting that, somewhat ironically, the plasma cannon is less scary than the heavy bolter here because, you know, you've been fighting like 3 or 4 plasma cannons here, and you've been handling it pretty admirably.
Yeah, they use them like barrages.
The Traitor Guard picked up, you know, 1 heavy bolter emplacement and half tore you apart.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit. Speaking of oh shit,
Wasn't fun.
Sidonis in danger.
Oh, he's got it, I'm sure.
These traitors are determined, and this landing pad does not offer much cover.
Sidonis!
At last!
No!
Such a pretty bauble, hiding such immense power. This device is a gift from the Chaos Gods. It holds the key to my evolution, to my ascension to immortal demonhood. My armies will spill humanity's blood across the stars. You continue to resist my touch. Only a deep connection to the warp can explain this. Will you be joining us soon, brother?
Or it could be wrong and he could get pimp-walked into hell. God damn it.
Sidonis died as we all should. In the righteous battle, do not give in to grief, Leandros. Turn your thoughts to vengeance. Nearoth will pay in blood.
Oh yeah, and they give us plenty of blood to play with to start. This can be one of the harder combat segments in the game if you let it, but the autocannon basically is your way of saying I'm not going to let it. I basically just prevented the game from flooding me with traitor guardsmen, so the rest of this just becomes ridiculously easy.
Yeah, if you fail to notice that autocannon straight off, like I did the first half dozen times I played this sequence, yeah, this becomes a Zerg survival of the worst sort.
And they'll, you'll basically be just ducking around trying to build your fury back up, trying to avoid the champions, trying to avoid the plasma bombardments while killing off the guardsmen. But
Everything considered, this is Robokai playing a lot smarter than I ever did.
That's why I do practice runs.
Captain Titus, we're ready to transport you.
The Sergeant.
That traitor lord murdered him. Nearoth killed Sidonus for the power source. You said the Inquisitor's work was heretical, Leandros. You were right.
What do you mean?
Nearoth plans to use the power source to trigger his transformation into a demon prince.
Abomination!
How can we stand against such a creature?
I will kill Nearoth when he's most vulnerable. During the transformation. Safeguard Sidonus until the apothecary arrives. Then join the Imperial attack.
Going alone is suicide. Or worse, we know the enemy takes great interest in your connection to Chaos.
Do you fear my falling to Chaos?
Of course not. Whatever lies behind your resistance, it can only be to the enemy's favor.
Why? Perhaps this resistance can get you close enough for a killing blow.
I will destroy Nearoth with skill and steel, or die trying. If this resistance comes into play during battle, so be it.
So be it.
I want to give Leandros a little bit of credit in that section. Nothing he said was wrong. And he is only displaying what is the utmost concern for what is going on at the moment. Leandros gets a lot of flack for being a huge stick in the mud throughout the entirety of the game.
Including from
I
us.
honestly feel like everything he said has kind of always been grounded in the truth.
And right now, it has never. His concerns have never been more valid. I mean, the very idea of running off against the Chaos Lord alone, even if you are a Space Marine captain with centuries of veterancy, if you have centuries of veterancy, you should know that is a dumb freaking idea.
And to be fair, Titus doesn't have centuries of veterancy. He's actually fairly young as far as captains go. He's only got about 150 years of service total. Nearoth, being a renegade, he could have up to thousands upon thousands of years of service in Chaos's name. We don't know if he's like a First Legion traitor or what, like a First Founding Legion traitor, or he could be back from the Horus Heresy for all we know. In which case, killing Space Marines, he would be very proficient at it. And as you saw with Sidonus, he was very proficient at it.
Yeah, the fact that he's rolling around in like Terminator armor like that means that he's an old SOB. That is for certain.
Yeah, you only get Terminator armor by earning it and keeping it against people who may want to try and do stuff to take it off you. It's a lot harder to be a Chaos Lord than it is to be a Space Marine captain in terms of hierarchy. You've always got a Starscream ready to drop on you, but yeah, Nearoth quite clearly doesn't have anybody sort of obsequiously like standing next to him, saying "My time soon, Nearoth."
Alright, well... Alright, I'm not even going to try to top that joke.
And honestly, this plays a little bit into all the background story we talked about with Titus. We talked about how he'd actually survived a rogue Psyker's attack when the rest of his squad had been wiped out. So obviously this resistance thing has been in play for a fairly long period of time and Titus hasn't fallen. And Leandros doesn't doubt Titus in that sort of regard. He's just really scared because even a Space Marine, when you look at them and says, "Do you think I'm going to fall? Do you really think you think I would fall?" That doesn't really mean a lot. Even if, that person you are right there, right now, yeah, you're not going to fall. But what Chaos can do to you is beyond what you may even be prepared for or could imagine. So you don't know what's going to have happened. He could end up being hollowed out and used as like a fucking possessed demon host. You know, like there is a lot of ways Chaos can meat puppet you or turn you into a slave. There is there.
Even if you do fall in the traditional sense. Half the time, it isn't even your fault. Half of the traitor legions mostly only got to be traitor legions because they had bad freaking luck.
Yeah, bad freaking luck, and they fell upon the attentions of certain chaos gods. The other thing in Titus's history that's always worth noting is how he had major issues with his anger. You can tell by his decision to basically just take all of the responsibility on himself and go and kill the shit out of Nearoth for what he just did to Sidonus. You can tell the anger is back. He is. And I believe that he's going to have a fair bit of dialogue in the next episode. Where basically he's just really not happy. So, if I'm recalling correctly. So yes, and that's exactly what the next episode is going to be. Captain Titus is going to be obliterating his way towards the orbital spire, and we're actually going to get a few surprises and a few friends to turn up as well. So until then, I've been the Last Robo Guy.
And I've been Cool Guy.
And we'll see you all next time.